This electric scooter absolutely does nothing. 0 miles an hour, not one. You could push this thing downhill in a hurricane, and the only thing moving faster than the scooter will be your disappointment. But today we're doing something slightly ridiculous. I'm going to take this burnt out rental scooter that cost me £20, rebuild the entire electrical system, throw 72 volts at it, and see if I can turn it into one of the fastest electric scooters I've ever built. And there's a problem. I'm not just trying to make it fast. I'm trying to make it fast enough to embarrass something that costs thousands of pounds. This is going to be a Surron smoke. Before somebody starts typing in the comments, Rasta, are you seriously comparing an e-scooter to a Surron? Yes, my guy. That's exactly what I'm doing, because if this works, this little £20 e-scooter could have a serious power to weight advantage. But there's one thing I haven't told you yet. During the first test, I made a mistake so stupid the scooter actually tried to send me in the wrong direction. Because before we get there, we've got to bring this thing back from the dead. So let's start from the beginning. Meet today's volunteer, an old rental electric scooter, and this scooter has had a harder life than most people I know. It was originally part of a rental scheme where people could unlock scooters, ride them around town, and pay through a mixture of unlock fees and time or distance charges. Basically, spent its working life abused by strangers. You know what it's like when something belongs to you. You're careful with it. You don't smash it into curbs. You don't leave it outside in the rain. You definitely don't launch it down a hill at full speed while shouting, "Hold my drink, watch this!" But when something belongs to a rental company, suddenly everybody becomes a professional stunt rider. And this particular scooter met an even worse fate. It was set on fire. Yeah, somebody literally decided this scooter needed to become a barbecue, bro. So by the time I got my hands on it, there wasn't much electrically left of it. I picked it up from the police auction for £20. Just £20. 20 quid? I wasn't expecting a showroom condition electric scooter. I was expecting something that looked like it had survived a war. That's basically what I got, bro. But here's where things get interesting, because underneath all the damage was something actually interesting: the frame. And more importantly, the hub motor. The original electronics were gone, bro. No usable battery, no controller, no complete electrical system. Which means this isn't really a repair now. This is a full electric vehicle build. And that makes things much more interesting, because now I can choose the brain, I can choose the battery, and I can choose how much power we're actually gonna feed into that motor. And that brings us to the big question: how much power can this little scooter actually handle? Because my goal isn't to make another scooter that feels slightly quicker than a rental scooter. I want something properly stupid, something that makes you look at the price tag and say, wait, how much you say that cost again? The frame itself is actually a decent starting point. It's steel, it's heavy duty, it's got substantial suspension components, and because this thing was originally designed to survive rental abuse, it's not exactly made from cheap. There's another advantage: weight matters a lot. Because when we're talking about acceleration and performance, it's not just about how much power the motor makes. It's about how much vehicle that power has to move. Think about carrying a 10-kilo bag compared to carrying a 50-kilo bag. Same person, same muscles, completely different experience. Electric motors are exactly the same idea, my guy. The more mass you're trying to move, the harder acceleration becomes. And this is where our little scooter could have an advantage over a Surron. Surron is a proper electric motorcycle. It's bigger, it's got larger wheels, and a much stronger chassis. Suspension designed for off-road riding, and a whole lot more going on. The stock Light B platform is around the 60-volt class and is capable of serious performance, with published specifications around 8,000 watts peak power, roughly 75 kilometers an hour, depending on the model and configuration. So this isn't exactly a slow machine. We're talking about a serious electric motorcycle. And I'm looking at this little scooter thinking, yeah, I reckon we can have it go. Now, obviously, there's a catch, and actually, there's several catches. Because you can't just take a random motor, connect a massive battery to, and expect the laws of physics to politely step aside. The motor has limits. The controller has limits. limits. The battery has more limits. The wiring has limits too. The tires have limits. The brakes have limits. And eventually, I have limits. That's probably the most important one, because making something accelerate is one problem. Stopping it is another. We're going to come back to that later. For now, let's talk about that thing that controls everything. The brain. The electric speed controller. For this build, I'm using a Fardriver controller. The reason I like this type of controller is because it's tunable, bro. A controller basically sits between the battery and the motor. The battery stores the energy. The controller decides how the energy is delivered, and the motor turns that electrical energy into movement. So you can think of it like this. The battery is the fuel tank, the controller is the brain, the motor is the muscle, and the throttle, well, the throttle is basically saying, come on, man. But there's actually some clever stuff happening inside the throttle. A typical Hall effect throttle uses a magnetic sensor. When you twist the throttle, a magnet moves relative to the sensor. That changes the sensor's output voltage. The controller needs that signal and uses it to determine how much power to request from the motor. Typically, the signal is somewhere around the low voltage range at rest and rises towards roughly 4 to 4.5 volts at full throttle, depending on the system. So when I'm twisting the throttle, I'm not literally sending 72 volts through the hand. Thankfully, otherwise would have a completely different YouTube video. Instead, I'm sending the controller a command. More throttle means give me more. Less throttle means calm down, broski. That's exactly what we're going to connect first, the motor. Coming out of the hub motor are the big phase wires. These are thick cables that carry the high current power from the controller to the motor windings. On many systems, you'll find 3-phase wires. Then you'll also find a group of much thinner wires. These are the whole sensor connections. The whole sensor gives the throttle information about the motor's position. Why does that matter? Because the controller needs to know when to energize the different motor phases. Imagine trying to push somebody on a swing while wearing a blindfold. You could probably make it move, but you would have absolutely no idea when to push. The whole sensor basically gives the controller the information it needs to coordinate the motor. So we've got 3 big wires carrying serious power and smaller sensor wires telling the controller what's happening inside the motor. Now, if everything matches up correctly, this can be relatively straightforward. But here's something important. Don't assume wire colors are universally correct because they just look the same. Phase and hole combinations can vary, and getting that wrong can result in poor running, excessive current, overheating, or a motor simply refuses to cooperate. So this is where you slow down. You check the controller documentation, you check the controller wiring, you check the motor wiring, and you make sure you're connecting things correctly, because electricity doesn't care how confident you are. It will happily turn your 20-pound bargain into a 200-pound paperweight overnight. Once the motor connections are sorted, we move on to the throttle. 3 wires are common: power, ground, signal, red, black, green, sometimes white instead of green. The throttle signal is what the controller watches, and when everything is connected properly, we've got communication, brain, muscle, command. Now we need something to feed the whole operation. This is where things get expensive. The battery, the most expensive brick you will ever buy, because if you've ever looked at high performance lithium batteries, you'll know one thing immediately: they are not cheap. A proper 72 volt battery capable of delivering serious current can easily run into hundreds and hundreds of pounds, potentially 1,000-pound mark, depending on the capacity, cell choice, construction, and the supply. And I don't know about you, but I don't casually have 1,000 pounds lying around in a drawer labeled money for ridiculous YouTube experiment. If I did, I would already own a Surron in my garden. So instead, I'm going to do something much more budget focused. I'm using 2 36 volt batteries in series to create a 72 volt class system. Now this is the part where I need everybody watching to pay attention, because this is not the case of 2 batteries equals double the fun. Lithium batteries are serious pieces of equipment. When batteries are connected in series, their voltages add together while the amp hour capacity remains the same. But that doesn't mean you can grab any 2 random batteries from your garage and start connecting them together. They need to be compatible suitable. Ideally, they should be appropriately matched in capacity, condition, and discharge capability. Their charge state needs to be properly matched before connecting them. The batteries in their BMS systems must be suitable for serious operation. The controller, motor, and other electrical components also need rated for the voltage you use, because if you put a 72 volt system into component designed for a much lower voltage, you're not upgrading it, you're potentially destroying it, bro. And lithium battery mistakes aren't funny. Controller blowing up, annoying. A lithium battery overheating and catching fire, completely different situation. So we're building this thing for performance, but we're not building it like a maniac. Now, when we combine two suitable 36 volt batteries in series, the voltage adds up. 36 plus 36 equals 72 volts. And that's the number I've been waiting for, because now this scooter has serious electrical system. But here's another problem. The batteries need to fit and they need to be secure. Because imagine hitting a pole at a speed and having a heavy lithium battery bouncing around inside the frame. That's not a battery mount. That's a mobile grenade. So I'm using appropriate padding around the battery area to reduce vibration and movement while making sure the batteries are physically secure and there's room for heat to dissipate. You don't want to wrap lithium batteries up like a Christmas present and then trap heat around them. And you definitely don't want loose batteries smashing around against the frame. Everything needs to be secured, everything needs to be protected, and everything needs to have enough clearance that the wires aren't being crushed. Now, at this point, we have a frame, we have a motor, we have a controller, we have a throttle, we have 72 volts. We're getting dangerously close to having an actual electric scooter. There's still one thing missing: the ignition. For that, I'm adding a key switch ignition. The key switch allows the low current ignition control circuit to tell the controller that the system should be active. Turn the key, the controller wakes up. Twist the throttle and hopefully the motor spins. So I lift the drive wheel off the ground, I support the scooter securely, I switch the ignition on, and this is the moment. 20-pound burnt out rental e-scooter. Now, new controller, new battery system, new wiring, and potentially enough electrical power to make this thing extremely interesting. I touch the throttle and boom, bro, the rear wheel spins. We have life. The 20-pound scooter officially come back from the dead. But I had one mistake. A mistake I didn't realize I'd made. And when I eventually discovered it, the scooter decided it wanted to go backwards. And believe me, you don't want to be sitting on an electric scooter when it suddenly decides reverse is the new favorite direction. But first, we've got to make sure this thing actually knows which way is forward, because apparently I forgot to tell it. So we've got batteries installed, we've got the controller installed, the throttle installed, got the motor connected, and we've got 72 volts sitting inside this little scooter. At this point, there's only one thing left to do: find out whether I've built an electric scooter or an electric problem. But those two things can look surprisingly similar. Now, remember that. Anyway, now we're out here on our ones. Off-road, baby, full throttle. Oh no, quarter throttle. Oh, this thing's fast. This thing is really fast. It was wheel spinning the whole time. Crazy, look at the tree. Just chill. Man, we're outside. I always say we're outside because guys, I spend a lot of time editing, to be honest with you. If I'm not editing, I'm filming for you guys, and I would really love it if you just hit like, bro. Fardriver controller, bro. Hey, on a hub motor that's meant to do big miles, bro, but it's 36 volt originally. We just put two batteries in this thing, made it 72 volts. You know what I mean? Two batteries, bro, of the same condition, making ridiculous power. Like an animal, bro. What the hell is this? Oh, okay. I ain't never rode anything like this, bro. Anything like this. This is insane. What? This half throttle. Get on the brakes, bro. There's like wet leaves over here. Oh, hey. This thing is insane. Let's see some. This is my front brake. Pin that, yeah? Let's hit the throttle. Trees approaching really fast. Oh, when you get to 3/4 throttle, the adrenaline, the G-force, everything hits you like a brick in the face, bro. What? Oh. That's ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. This thing is just ridiculous, just bro. On this video, just Smash that like button out here. One little okay, no joke, like I gotta like put my things back. Meant to be tested real quickly, so I'm gonna put my batteries and thing back in there and that. Like this. So I just want to see what it does before I seal everything up. And Jesus, hill there. I bet you can tackle that hill like it's nothing. Check this out. Let's go. Hill climb. Torque. The torque is insane. Oh, bro, cause you probably hear me. Oh man, look, they burnt the place up. Why, bro? They just burnt this place. Oh, it's still smoking, bro. Okay, I got 3/4 throttle. I'm pinning 3/4 throttle. We're still accelerating. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta let go of 3/4 throttle. That is. What? Come on now. We deserve a subscribe for that one. Smash the like button for that. Alright, quarter, half, 3/4, full. Let go. Woo! Brake check, brake check. That's a back brake locking up, bro. We got good brakes on here. That's lit. And we are outside, bro. And the rickety thing. What a flash. Oh my lord. I need a driver, bro. I need like a driver who can test his vehicles for me. Woo! Jesus, doing wheelies in the damn. Jesus! Let go of that throttle. Oh my lord. Ridiculous ride. Whoa, you gotta be on the controls cause trees approach you really fast. Alright, you gotta chill out on that, you know.
Click this video to learn how to remove the speed limiter of your e-bike. Or click this video to learn how to build a stealth bomber electric bike from scratch. This Rasta.